On today's episode of the Mullet Mustang presented by Turn 14 Distribution,
we're going to show you how this magical little device will send all the engine data to our new AutoMeter gauges. Installing aftermarket gauges just got a whole lot easier thanks to AutoMeter. This is their new air drive system, which is an OBD2 dongle that sends info from your ECU to the gauges wirelessly using Wi-Fi. So you've also got two ports on the back where you can add in sensors, like analog style sensors, to the system as well. So if there's something that your ECU doesn't have, like oil temperature, for example, you can wire that sensor directly into this and then it'll be sent to the gauges. So the gauges just need power and ground, and then the information that they display is sent from that magical Wi-Fi dongle. These can be configured with a warning light through an iPhone app, so that'll be pretty cool to try that out and see how these are configurable. And we also have this gauge pod that's designed specifically for the S197 Mustang. So this sits in the center of the dash, and we'll park our 3 gauges in there pretty painlessly. It looks like there's even a spot to run the wire down through. Is it the vent hole or
yeah,
something?
the rear vent hole, apparently.
So no drilling. This should be a really easy install. That's kind of a theme lately, isn't it lately, Pete? We've been talking about how easy everything's going to be.
How easy everything is, and then it turns out to be much really harder than we always expect. But.
So we'll try our best to make this look easy. There's some wires, but Pete's going to do it.
Not that many of them.
Pete's going to do it. I'm just
we'll get that stuff sorted out.
For me, it's going to be easy. I don't know how easy it's going to be for you, buddy.
So this is what Pete looks like hiding behind a black plastic gauge pod.
Not hiding behind anything.
Oh, okay.
I've already got our gauges installed,
Okay.
which was as easy as it comes.
You jumped the gun there, buddy. You didn't let me show the world popping those in the hole.
You just pop them in.
All right.
Nobody needs to see that.
Okay.
My game plan is I am going to splice the 3 of these together instead of having to run all of this down through the vent somehow.
I'm going to get one shot at this, PT.
I feel like I'm diffusing a bomb here.
That's right.
Except I can't cut the wrong wire.
You should be sweating right now. The white wire or the red wire?
One of them.
It's never the black wire, buddy.
No, it never is. So the reason why there's 3 wires is we've got a switchable switchable power, ground, and this is for lights, lighting.
All right, let's spin to the job being complete.
And we're back.
And we have access to some very fine tools like this heat gun here. So I'm going to use it to my advantage to heat shrink. And with this done, it's time to run the wires through the dash, which I think is going to pose the biggest problem of this whole install. According to AutoMeter's instructions for the gauge pod, we're supposed to be able to fish some wires through the vent back here, and I've tried to do it with a wire unsuccessfully, so I'm gonna try something a little bit stronger here, which is stainless steel lock wire that Envy has kicking around, and hopefully I can get it through there.
Here's a position you didn't expect to see Peter in.
All for the love of the game here. All right. What you can't see is I have a hold of the wire here.
Okay, yeah.
So if you check up top, you can see it moving?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Yep.
My game plan is to tape one single wire onto the steel wire and try to fish it through, and then do it 2 more times to get all the wires down to where I need them. I know I should have black electrical tape, but call me lazy. This is what I could find at NV right now, so that's all I'm gonna use. I think it's good.
Yeah?
I don't know, you tell me. Did you see it moving through?
Oh, yeah, it looked like it.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump underneath here and have a quick peek.
What do you got for me, Riley?
Potato wedges, courtesy of Tim Hortons.
Sweet. We rolled up the rim and won.
You did.
Just seeing your beard on the camera is a win for me, buddy. Can you hide that in your beard?
Can I?
Will it fit in there?
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Success. So I've got 1 wire through.
Nice work, buddy. Looks like your fishing expedition is working out.
Wire number 2 is coming through. So let me jump underneath here and show you guys what exactly is going on. As you can see here, I'm pulling the wire through a small little gap between the dash and the vent up in that area there. So it's really difficult to show you this here, but we've got 2 down. So now I'll unwrap this one and get the 3rd one in. 3 wires. So that's a success. It was actually easier than I expected. So now I'm just gonna slowly pull them through and mock up our pod here. That's not bad, right?
Yeah, it looks good.
I may have missed a step here, and that's putting the metal plate, that's the attachment point to the dash. AutoMeter supplies 1 strip of 3M. I've cut it into 2 because I'm thinking if I go on the edges, it'll give it that maximum adhesion. So I'm gonna stick this on here and then mount it up to the bottom of the gauge pod. And the moment of truth.
Peel that off.
Peel them off. I'm gonna kind of pull this forward to make sure it's really snug. When we lock it into place here.
Locked into that grill, right?
Yeah.
It kind of hooks into the grill.
And I push down and it doesn't stick, damn it.
How far off are we?
Oh, you know what we can do? Wait a second.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
I have an idea.
Pull the gauges out and you can go through there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now we can push it down. Oh, yes. We figured out our own problem. There we go. All right.
Well,
It's sticking.
yeah.
Sticks good. Right? I assume we're good?
I guess so.
The AutoMeter gauge pod is, for me, an 8 out of 10 on the fitment scale. So we're gonna push this down. Make sure it's really in place.
On the upside, it will house 3 gauges that give us valuable information on the engine's health.
Yeah, so, you know, right now we're kind of not happy with the gap on the side, but
Yeah, on this side it's
once
not
we start
bad, but
driving the car, you forget about it in a week or two.
Exactly,
And
we'll be over it.
that's that. My plan is to hopefully find power, ground, and a light source in and around here. Turn the key on. Oh, sweet music. Turn the blinker on. Turn that off.
Got it all going on.
And let's just go through some of these. No, so this is a constant 12 volt signal. There we go. Okay, so this one's 12 volts. It's still got 12 volts.
Everything's still got 12 volts?
There's 3 wires here that have 12 volts.
And none of them are switched?
None of them are switched. Well, I'll keep going here. This is a connector that seems to run over to the radio and HVAC. We found that the yellow wire with a red stripe is a switched 12 volt. So we're gonna wire into this. I think we may have a little bit of an issue. Of course, I didn't take into consideration the CAN bus system of this vehicle. And remember that wire I told you that you can tap into for a switched 12 volt source? Well, watch the wipers here.
Oh.
Yes, what it does is it somehow triggers the wipers.
That's so random.
It is. I don't know how, I don't know why, I mean, but it does.
Okay.
So it just goes to show with the new cars and the modern wiring, you just can't pick a switch 12 volt and tap into it because random stuff like that's gonna happen. We do have a solution. However, that means running a wire all the way to the other side. I read online that there's a fuse box on the other side that has a switched 12 volt source. That'll work, but I just didn't want to get into wiring
One side to the other? Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So it's a bit of a pain, but that's what we're gonna have to do to ensure that these gauges work. We're on the home stretch here. I've run the power wire from the driver's side over to the passenger side here to the fuse panel, and I am connecting it now. So we're good. The gauges should power up. And the moment of truth. Come on, gauges. Oh, we have power. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step, right?
Yeah, the pulsing blue means they have power, and they should turn to green once they've connected to the dongle over there. So, while those
Go to
connect,
this app system here.
well, the first thing we have to do is go to Wi-Fi and see that we're connected to AutoMeter Wi-Fi, which we are. So that means the phone is talking to the dongle. And now we can go to the app. You can see all my kiddie games up there, and the AutoMeter Air Drive System app. So you can see that we've already configured it for the car. The middle one, the oil pressure, we configured already just to see everything was good. So let's try water temp now, Pete.
Yeah.
So if we go to PID, this allows us to choose which sensor
Which is really cool,
It
actually.
is, yeah.
So see, you have options of the analog sensor. So if you decide to add the external AutoMeter sensor, you can use that one as well, which is pretty neat.
Yeah. So we'll go with engine coolant temperature.
Yeah, from the PCM.
So we'll say OK. And we can go to backlighting, and we can actually choose the color that the gauge displays from this whole, what do you call
Give me
this?
some sweet
What color
purple.
do you want? You want purple? Okay, we'll go
Yeah.
for purple over there, PT. How's that? Is that purple enough, or is that too pink?
Nah, that's good for me.
Purple?
And look at that, the gauge is changing color.
Magic. We can set alarms. So it'll say add a new alarm. We can say what value. So let's say at 220 degrees, we want this thing to start flashing at us like we're going to die. So it's set to 220, I'll hit save. We're good. So I'll hit done. And the peak recall, oh, that's like it has a memory function, I guess, eh? So it'll give us a min-max recall. Interesting.
Yeah, really
That's
neat.
nice to see. So when we're on track, we're not watching the gauges that closely. We can see what we're doing.
And the oil temperature gauge, we can try to configure, but we're not going
We don't
to, I think,
think
have any type
there's-
of option for it. Yeah, we don't.
Fluid
So
temperature sensor demo on port 1. Yeah, so we got to go to an external sensor.
which we do have.
We
So
do.
our plan is to do that in one of the next episodes.
Yeah, because we're going to wire that into a sandwich adapter, which will be used for an oil cooler setup. So watch for that in a future episode. And in the meantime, I think it's pretty awesome that there's an app that lets me configure these gauges, that lets me define the colors of them, that lets me set alarm temperatures.
Best of all, it's a pretty easy install.
It is a pretty easy
No
install.
sensors. Well, we're going to have to wire one sensor, but if
Yeah.
your car is a really late model, so probably like 2011 and up, you may have all the sensors you need. All right, so we have power now, and I'll tell you right away, we just noticed that the oil pressure gauge doesn't have a factory ECU output, so we're gonna have to wire in a sensor for that one and oil temperature. So water temperature really is the only thing that we're gonna get to read correctly right now, and that's gonna take a little bit of time to come up to actual temperature.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna be able to show you exactly how this thing reads right away, but we'll get to that in another episode. I think at this point, we're gonna call it a wrap on this. We've got some sensors to wire in, like Dave said, with the oil cooler, so that'll be the next video. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell button so you're always notified of our videos, and check out our Shopify page. We've got new gear.
What do you win?
Potato wedges.
They're
Yeah,
not
no,
even good.
not the best. I agree.
Not even good.
Not your
They
best
can't
effort,
give
Tim
those
Hortons.
things away, they're so bad.
Pretty-
Potato wedges are terrible.